If you're watching this video and you haven't had a refreshing night's sleep in a long time and you have an invisible illness, or maybe you don't, then this video is for you. What if I was to say to you that it's not necessarily what you do that is causing you to have poor quality sleep or unrefreshing night, but what your body is doing? So my name's Nathan, I'm an exercise physiologist at Active Health Clinic, and today I'm going to talk about the reason why your sleep is unrefreshing. So many people we see have amazing sleep hygiene. They will wind down really well, they have great routines, but no matter what they do, they don't sleep, or it's not refreshing. Now, this is because there's a problem physiologically in your body. Now, when it comes to sleep, there are three main things that we look at and that will contribute towards you getting a good night's sleep. Now, two of these are pretty normal within invisible illnesses. So things like fatigue and pain syndromes, long COVID, dysautonomia, POTS, and even hypermobility. But anything that has a chronic stress on the body will pretty much do this. So the first one is circadian rhythm. So circadian rhythm is basically the time that you go to bed and the time that you wake up, and it's regulated by serotonin and melatonin. So during the nights we produce, or darkness, we produce melatonin, and any excess is converted to serotonin during the day. So often when we have, if you ever had jet lag, that's sort of a circadian rhythm problem. And through sunlight and getting, or eating first thing and getting sunlight and your movement, then it helps convert that excess melatonin to serotonin, and we'll have a relatively normal day. But that's not a major problem in invisible illnesses. The second is your sleep drive. So this is how much your body wants to go to sleep, and is primarily regulated by the amount of time that you're awake. So the longer you're awake, the more that your body wants to sleep. Now, it's also regulated or contributed to by the amount of activity that we do in a day as well. So if we do a lot of activity, physical or mental, then that will also build that sleep drive. Now, for most people with fatigue syndromes and all invisible illnesses, that's not really a problem either. You know, they sometimes can't do enough activity because of the limitations with it, but the body will eventually fall asleep anyway. Now, the third thing, and the major problem here, is your wake drive. So this is, a wake drive is something about, realistically, how stimulated your body is. So if we think about maybe in a previous life or other times, or you did something really exciting, you went to the football, you exercised, your body has this adrenaline and it's sort of at a heightened state, and it's pretty much hard to get to sleep. We sort of lay there and just stay awake. Now, when someone has an invisible illness, that is a huge chronic stress on the body. So our nervous system, hormonally, our blood pressure control, everything is on high alert. And so that chronic stress and constant stress, because these things never go away, basically leads to a high wake drive. So if we think about a high wake drive, it makes it harder to get to sleep, but then it also affects the depth of your sleep. So if we think about the like a sleep, we generally tend to go through this deep sleep cycle, and then out through a few different phases and lighter ones, and then out at the end of the night. And so anything sort of above this area is, you're awake. The lighter sleep is sort of dreams and things like that, which often when we come out of sleep, we have sort of, we remember our dreams and what we're doing. But often what we find is that when we have a high wake drive, it leads to sort of a much more high frequency sleep. So instead of something like that, it tends to be more sort of up and down. Now, sometimes I describe a little bit like a seesaw and a big kid and a little kid. Generally, when it's even, we have this nice up and down, but when we have a big kid and a little kid, it's always bang, bang, like really up and down. And that's sort of like the big kid is the high wake drive, and the little kid up here is the sort of the normal sleep drive. So when the wake drive is so high, it leads to this up and down and a much more high frequency sleep. And this is why it's unrefreshing, because we're not staying necessarily in that deep sleep. Now, a lot of people will look at devices and wearables and say, I'd never really get enough deep sleep. And this is mainly because of that high frequency sleep. So no matter how much you wind down in the evening and all the different routines, it can have some impact on improving your wake drive. The number one thing is how we manage our days, how we take that chronic stress off the body as much as possible, mainly through pacing, good quality rest, as well as building from that platform. So I hope that's been helpful. Now, if you want to understand more about this, I'd love you to put some questions in below. So please, post away, and I'll speak to you soon.